Spence Lewis here, post-race at Ohsweken Speedway. I'm here with New York driver Todd Hoddick, post-race after his first ever sprint car feature victory. Todd, you got to be so happy, my man. I mean, not only did you win your first feature race here in a sprint car, but you did it in style. No one was making the top work like you were here tonight. I mean, just walk me through that 20-lap feature.
Well, you know, we started off there on the top, and Mitch Brown went by us in the bottom, and he's always good on the bottom here, so I knew the only way to go by him was up on the top on the cushion, and there really wasn't much left of it. We were passing lap cars 3 wide through the middle, hanging on for dear life, and luckily all of them caught us some brakes there, and we made it to the end. So we ran, you know, 4 or 5 years of sprint car race and never thought we'd win a race again after we left asphalt. So it's really rewarding when you don't know if you're going to win again.
I mean, you truly were one of the great standouts of the New York late model scene back when it was thriving, back in the Mara days, the Lake Erie days. I mean, you were so good in that realm. Coming over to dirt, you mentioned right before we went on air, it was just like we're learning to walk all over again, right? I mean, just start from square one.
Yeah, we started to see the decline with the late models in New York and some of the changes and the classes getting dropped. So we decided to do something different, and for some reason, I don't know why, we picked a sprint car. We probably should have picked a dirt modified close to home, but
you couldn't pick much at something more different than an asphalt late model than a dirt sprint car, right? I mean, that's completely the opposite direction.
First night out, went out, lifted in the corner like the stock car, drove right off the top of the track. So it's been an experience, but you know, I'm just proud of the guys and all the crew and everybody that supports us here, and it's a great win tonight.
I mean, tonight it seemed as though 1 and 2 on the top, I mean, you had it down to a science. 3 and 4, it seemed as though, especially towards the end of the race, it got a little bit hairy.
Yeah, 1 and 2 stayed, the cushion on the top stayed up there real nice, so we could run wide open through the top down there, but 3 and 4 kind of blew off on the top, and I was afraid to change my line just because we ran up top the whole race, and we had to pedal it probably the last 5 or 7 laps up on the top, just hanging on for dear life.
I mean, just prior to that last caution, you sort of touched on it earlier, you made that 3 wide pass, 4 wide pass really with some of the lap cars. You couldn't have slid a piece of paper between yourself and 2 of the cars beside you. Did you have time to process it? Did you know that you had room, or did you just sort of throw it in there and hope that it would work out?
Well, we knew we were rolling the top pretty good, and you know, we weren't in a position to lift and try to get to the bottom behind Mitch, so we knew we'd either go up there, it was either going to work out for us, or we're going to be in the fence.
Knowing how good Mitch was last week, because I mean, Mitch Brown was just lights out good in week number 2, does that make this victory even more special, knowing that you can roll in here to a track he's extremely good at and sort of go toe-to-toe with him and come away with the win? Does that make it even more special for you?
Absolutely. It's more rewarding to race for it like that. I mean, we were slicing and dicing there for 10 laps, so that makes it even more special. But hey, a lot of it here depends on the track work. You know, if the track's good on the bottom's lights out. Some nights there's no bottom, there's a good top, and tonight it widened out and there was a pretty good bottom and a top, so it led to some good racing.
Now I got to ask, when you first broke into the late model scene, how many years did it take you to get a feature win in a late model?
About 6 months.
So a little bit longer in a sprint car, but they always say the first one's the hardest to get, right? So now that the first one's out of the way, we're going to see this 49 car in Victory Lane a few more times this year, I'm assuming, right?
I hope so. We're gonna do our best.
None of this happens without the people behind the scenes. Go ahead and show some love and thank the folks that make Friday nights a reality for you.
Absolutely. I always want to thank my dad. He's always been behind me in my racing career. He used to be a standout race car driver, modified driver, super modified driver, and he's been behind me all the way. And also Carl Hare, another asphalt guy. He was down. He runs asphalt modifieds on the ROC tour, so he's been helping us along the way. My fiance Kristen, we got a bunch of great partners. Merzak Enterprises, Fiberworks Composites, they built some great seats and they help us out. Casey's Truck Salvage up there in Buffalo, mainstay with the TQ midgets, he's always helped us as well.
And I gotta say, Kristen was going nuts in the stands. I had one eye on the track and one eye on her, because there was no doubt who in the pit grandstands was a fan of Todd Hoddick, because I could see her jumping up and down. She was going nuts. So you guys are going to remember this one for a long time. A phenomenal performance. We'll check back in with you in week number 4 and see if you can't get the number 49 car back-to-back victories.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for the time. Todd Hoddick here at Ohsweken, folks.